Valentine's Day was supposed to be perfect. The kind of evening wrapped in candlelight, warm laughter, and whispered promises. The air smelled of roses, the wine was deep and rich, and her smile was the kind that made my chest tighten. We had booked a secluded cabin deep in the woods, far from the noise of the city. The fireplace crackled, casting flickering shadows across the room. She had always been fascinated by the supernatural, and when she pulled the Ouija board from her bag, her eyes sparkled with excitement. I should have stopped her. At first it was a game, just two lovers indulging in something dark and thrilling. We lit candles, dimmed the lights, and placed our fingers lightly on the planchette. The board felt old, the wood smooth but strangely cold beneath my touch. She asked the first question with a smirk. "Is anyone there?" Nothing happened. We laughed it off, teasing each other for believing in silly ghost stories. But then, as if the air itself had tightened, the planchette jerked. It moved slowly, deliberately. Yes. We froze. My heart hammered in my chest. The fire seemed to dim, the shadows in the corners of the room stretching unnaturally. She asked another question, her voice softer now, her playful confidence waning. "Who are you?" The planchette slid again. "Not important." A chill ran through me. I looked at her, expecting her to laugh, to break the tension, but she was pale, her breathing shallow. I told her we should stop, but she shook her head. "What do you want?" The planchette moved faster this time. Her. She yanked her hands back as if burned. The room suddenly felt wrong, too big, too empty, as if something unseen had slipped inside with us. The flames in the fireplace sputtered, and a gust of wind rattled the cabin walls. Then she gasped. Clutching her chest, she staggered back, eyes wide with terror. I rushed to her, but she screamed, a raw, unearthly sound. She dug her nails into her own skin, scratching at something unseen. Her veins darkened, spreading like black ink beneath her flesh. I grabbed her hands, tried to stop her, but she fought me, her strength unnatural. The candles flickered violently, and then, all at once, they went out. The darkness swallowed us whole. The only sound was her ragged breathing, then a sickening crack. I felt her body stiffen. Her head snapped back, her mouth open in a silent scream. The temperature dropped so fast that my breath came out in icy plumes. I whispered her name, but she didn't respond. Instead, she lifted her head slowly, too slowly, like something was forcing her movements. Her eyes, those beautiful, familiar eyes, were gone, replaced by endless black voids. A voice, guttural and wrong, rasped from her lips. "She is no longer here." Then she lunged at me. I barely managed to throw myself backward, crashing into the table. The Ouija board flew onto the floor, the planchette spinning wildly. She moved toward me, her limbs jerking unnaturally, her fingers clawing at the air. Her lips curled into a grin that wasn't hers. I scrambled for my bag, my hands shaking as I fumbled for the car keys. I turned to run, but the door slammed shut on its own. The entire cabin trembled. The walls groaned, the windows shuddered. Shadows pooled around her feet, writhing like living things. The thing inside her laughed, a sound that made my stomach turn. It wasn't just inside her, it was everywhere. It had been waiting. I did the only thing I could. I lunged for the Ouija board, grabbed the planchette, and with every ounce of strength I had left, I forced it to spell one word. Goodbye. A shriek split the air, inhuman and deafening. She collapsed, her body convulsing violently before going still. The shadows receded, the air lightened, and the flames in the fireplace roared back to life. I crawled to her, my hands shaking as I cradled her face. Her eyes fluttered open, and for a moment, I thought she was back, but then she smiled, a slow, knowing smile, and I realized the thing never truly left.